Hello, and thanks for joining us today. I'm Fagbadegun. I'm on the Lorien senior leadership team. Lorien is a leading provider of technology-focused talent acquisition services. We work with customers large and small to deliver RPO, MSP, and total talent solutions. In this series of video shorts, we're talking to some of Lorien's key client partners about the challenges and opportunities to drive inclusion and diversity in 2021. Today, I'm in conversation with Zoe Martin and Tarah Lourens from Rightmove. Zoe is Rightmove's Director of People and Development. Her 20-year HR career has spanned several varied sectors: insurance, telco, engineering, retail, but for the last 13 years, she's been at Rightmove. Zoe loves that her role gives her the opportunity to meet so many different people, and her career is a large part of her life, alongside her 9-year-old daughter, who challenges her thinking and negotiation skills on a daily basis. Tarah is Chief Product and Technology Officer at Rightmove. She started her career as a software engineer and has a drive for delivering solutions through tech that make a difference. As a technology leader, Tarah is passionate about the way that tech teams work and the important role these teams now play in every organisation. So I think everyone knows who Rightmove is, but if you don't, well, it's one of the UK's biggest homegrown web brands and a top 10 most visited website. In terms of how we come together, Lorien and Rightmove have collaborated since early 2020. Lorien's Rightmove's lead technology recruitment partner. We provide a project RPO solution to the firm, working in synchronicity with Rightmove's fantastic in-house team and key technology stakeholders such as Tarah across the business. So today I'd like to talk to you both about women in tech and how Rightmove is playing its part to support gender diversity in technology. So first, let's look at the current situation. Today we only see 19% of tech roles being occupied by women. Tarah, as a female tech leader, why do you think there still remains such a significant lack of girls and women choosing a career in technology?
So I think it comes down to perception. I think there's a view that working in technology means sitting behind a desk, staring at a screen all day. And I think 10, 15 years ago, that was probably a fair description. But today, modern technologies, teams just don't work that way. You know, it's highly collaborative, highly creative, and really some roles are completely client-facing. So there really is a diverse set of roles, and a lot of them aren't just sitting at a desk staring at a screen all day.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to reveal my age, but I know I was looking at kind of opportunities and options kind of coming out of school and going to university. Tech never featured. I can be really frank about that. I went to a school where they had lots of opportunities and spent time talking to the young girls there. I don't know if you could perhaps share for the listeners and the viewers today some roles that might change perceptions, might change thinking for young women and girls thinking about their next steps.
Yeah. So, I mean, as I said, there are, so many roles you could choose now. Sort of obviously the very technical ones, which, kind of do mean, coding and sort of needing to have kind of some technical understanding. But there's a whole suite of non-technical roles. And if girls are looking to go that way, probably product and design would be, the two areas that I'd suggest. And those roles are really about getting to know customers, getting under the skin of what they need and what they're trying to achieve, and then working with a team collaboratively to come up with creative solutions to kind of meet those needs. And the best part of those jobs, I think, is being able to see how the thing that you've built actually changes somebody's sort of life or work situation. So they're incredibly rewarding roles.
Thank you, Tarah. And obviously you're female leader of Rightmove in technology. You're doing your bit to promote women in technology, but how else is the business supporting the gender balance and driving women in tech?
Yeah, so I mean, we're quite proud of our diversity in the tech team already. Diversity and inclusion is a big part of kind of our strategic goals for the next few years. There's a lot of stuff we already do. So things like the way that we interview, we sort of take names and place of study off of CVs at the screening stage. We make sure those interviewing, there's quite a diverse panel. The way that we describe our roles to candidates, we try and be as neutral as possible so they appeal to kind of both genders. And internally, we support people to transition into technology from sort of the rest of the business. We also work with a number of kind of partners out there who are trying to address the diversity and balance in the wider sense.
I think that's an interesting point. So I think people often think if you don't go into tech at the junior level, transitioning from other departments into technology, perhaps that might not be something people have considered. Which departments have people potentially moved from into tech from within Rightmove before?
So the most typical for us is customer experience, and then sort of typically into the sort of not quite non-technical. So we often sort of see those people move into business analyst roles. They've obviously got a very deep understanding of the business already. And so they're very well suited for those roles, actually. And then we've had those people move onto product roles as well. We've had some of them go more technical into QA.
Thanks, Tarah. So home for everyone, wherever they are at Rightmove, potentially could move into technology. So that's really interesting to hear those transitions. You also mentioned about organisations that are trying to improve diversity, partnering with those at a business level. So I agree again, Lorien is doing similar. We're a signatory of Tech Talent Charter, Tech She Can, and from a grassroots perspective, we've supported early years initiatives such as Mama.Codes and Tech Girls, and all just brilliant experiences that we've really enjoyed doing. From your side, are there any names, any organisations that you would recommend businesses who are looking to partner with people as passionate about women in tech as Rightmove is?
Yeah, so we have a long-standing relationship with Women Ahead, which is sort of a program out there to sort of help and support women to progress into senior roles, not necessarily in technology, but in business in general. So we sort of work on that program. We also this year have joined the new program called Mission Include, which again is a cross-company mentoring program, but really trying to broaden out those kind of diversity groups and support people from all types of diverse backgrounds to progress into senior roles. And then this year, the other partnership we've kicked off is with Generating Genius and their Black Women in Tech program. So we've got a number of things sort of kicking off this year, again, to support that specific group.
Thank you. They sound well worth checking out. And I suppose once you've got your women in the business and they're in their kind of technology roles, or they've transitioned internally to those technology roles, how would you say, and probably this one for Zoe, how would you say businesses can best actually support and then promote their women in tech once they're onboarded?
I think the really important thing for us is that it's part of our philosophy about that inclusive environment for everybody. And so we created, and partly in our partnership with Women Ahead, we have a thoughtful leadership program, which supports all of our managers through ensuring that we are having thoughtful conversations with people, and to help support that inclusivity agenda, and a number of education programs around that. I think one of the things we find most powerful as well is when people see a representation of them. So we call it Someone Like Me, which is definitely, we've seen that with a number of people who've, females who've stepped into roles and gone on that career journey from customer experience, that they can see someone like them and are aspirational to move into the tech positions. I think a big part of what we do also support, and even more so having gone through the challenges of the last year, is we recognise the need that there has to be a balance between career and also home and personal commitments. So we support these in a number of ways, both for whatever your gender, and they're accessible for you. And we saw that a lot last year, where we introduced flexible working hours for those who needed it with other commitments at home, also with family members outside of the UK. So we gave an additional 10 days holiday to support this for people, which has gone a long way in helping people, with some of the stresses that they've gone through, but whilst also feeling that they haven't got to step away from their career and can continue contributing.
That's awesome. Couldn't agree more. So I love working, I love my job. But I've also have two young children, so the pandemic was challenging for me and for so many people. So to hear what Rightmove did to support your staff, that's really encouraging. I think that point on flexibility is so key for attracting women, and it's great to hear how Rightmove's approaching that. On the pandemic though, Zoe, do you feel now that full-time remote working as it is today, and will be perhaps for at least for a few more months, has that made maintaining an open and inclusive environment more challenging or less challenging?
I think from what people have told us, it's actually been good. It's been really good for us. I think when it's absolutely challenged, all our habitual ways of working, all of these things that we said, oh, yes and no to. And I think actually what everyone has said is that it's been quite the opposite, in that, you've been introduced to people's homes, families, pets, children, and there's been so much sharing. It's sort of brought home life into our working life, and the two have combined. And a lot of people have reflected that actually they feel they've got to know people more through the interactions, being in the home, screen life, than they would have known those people in the office. And I think we were our culture and environment has always been fundamental to all that we do. So we did go into lockdown in a very strong cultural place and for people. And I think that's really sort of supported us through the lockdown. So yeah, it's the opposite. It has, people have described it, it's been really good getting to know people and their families through this. And we also took the opportunity to ask people. So we run our people survey every 12 months and every 6 months to ask people how they're feeling. And we introduced a new question as part of our inclusion and diversity strategy. And we just simply asked, do you feel you can be yourself at Rightmove? And we were delighted, 82% of respondents said they absolutely feel that they can be themselves, and were shared some really, really heartwarming, positive sentiments because they feel valued and they don't have to pretend to be someone else. And I think that's really great that also came through on screens, that, people welcomed their teams into their home, really, for the balance of working life.
Thank you, Zoe. That's absolutely brilliant to hear about some of the initiatives. And actually, the Rightmove has been going out asking the question, actually, of their employees, not afraid to ask if you feel you can be yourself, and it's so good to hear the response that we're getting. Tarah and Zoe, thank you so much today for your time. I think for anyone who's watched this video short and you fancy a career in tech, Rightmove could be the right home for you. So thanks very much for your time, and I'll see you again soon.